From our nation's capital of Washington, D.C., he weighed in at a trim and ready 110 1/4 pounds, and his outstanding record includes 21 wins, only 1 defeat, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the WBC #2 flyweight in the world. Please welcome the defending Pentacontinental Flyweight Champion, Mark Toop Sharp Johnson.
It's personal between me, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Alright, so first and foremost, welcome to my new channel, my second channel, The Untouchable True School Sports Empire, as it is appropriately named. Now, this channel is going to have a bit of different content, you know, boxing history videos, career reviews, lot more long form content for you guys. Pop's is going to be on here, you know, occasionally ranting, doing his own videos. We'll have the aftermath lives after big fights on exclusively on this channel. But to kick things off, I want to do this. I want to do more of these kind of things because it's fun to talk about, you know, fantasy fights and fantasy matchups and take fighters from different eras and see just talk about what it would have been like if those two would have squared off, right? So if you guys got any fantasy fight matchups, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll definitely get to them on this channel. But the first one we're gonna do, the first video in the history of the Untouchable True School Sports Empire official channel, is gonna be a fantasy fight breakdown between Naoya Inoue, you know, the flyweight, super flyweight version, and he will be taking on none other than Mark Toop Sharp Johnson, one of the most skillful fighters I've ever seen in my life. You know, let's talk about it, because when I watch Naoya Inoue fight, obviously he's fight by fight becoming one of the modern day greats and well on his way to becoming an all-time great in the sport of boxing. But when you talk about, you know, the great little men of yesteryear, particularly from the 90s, you got to talk about Mark Toop Sharp Johnson. Mark Toop Sharp Johnson doesn't quite get the credit he deserves because he wasn't able to get those big fights with the likes of Danny Romero, Johnny Tapia, Michael Carbajal, or Chiquita Gonzalez. There were a lot of great fighters in his era. They really weren't trying to fight him, and he didn't necessarily have the best backing or promotion behind him. So he kind of was frozen out. But anybody who watched him fight, I mean, this guy, I'll put it like this. What Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney and all these guys at 135 and 140 who think they're special, what they think they are, this guy actually was that. There wasn't anything in a boxing Mark Toop Sharp Johnson couldn't do. If you wanted him to box out the back foot, he could box out the back foot. If you wanted him to fight in the pocket, he could fight in the pocket. If you wanted him to you know, counter punch, you could counter punch. So the fact that he had all these skills was an elite athlete inside the ring, had punching power, fundamental boxing skills, had speed, and he was southpaw. Nightmare matchup for anybody, right? So he wasn't able to get those fights. I would definitely say the biggest win on his resume came later in his career when he fought a young Fernando Montiel when he was like in his you know, early to mid 30s, which, you know, in these lower weight classes is a lot. Now, on the other side, we got Naoya Inoue. Now, when I say Naoya Inoue, don't think about the guy that just fought Folan, and don't think about the guy that's been fighting recently, because that's not the Naoya Inoue I'm talking about. If these two would have ever have fought, it would have to have been at 112 flyweight or 115 super flyweight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, you gotta look at the Inoue that was fighting like Omar Narvaez, David Carmona, you know, Kohei Kono, them guys. You know, that guy, Antonio Nieves. Think about that version of Inoue. You know, that's the guy we're talking about. good, still a great fighter, still great, but still not quite as polished as the fighter we know today. So, if they were to fight, let's break it down. Let's break down the style. So, Inoue was a fighter. You know, I think what would make a fight interesting between him and Mark Toop Sharp is the fact that I think he's an elite athlete, just like Mark Toop Sharp Johnson's an elite athlete. Inoue's got these big calves, which allow him to explode through his punches a lot more smoother and more efficient than a lot of fighters. So when he hits you, it really has an effect. Very fundamentally sound, and you know, let's make no mistakes about it. I know his career is still going on, so it's hard to fully judge what Inoue is going to be at the end. But you know, it wasn't really until Mark Toop Sharp Johnson was older and had already had a bunch of fights, and they made him fight, you know, killers, because they made him fight Rafael Marquez and guys like that, and Johnny Gonzalez when he was older and past his prime. So I don't really count those knockout losses against him. You know, he had 3 knockouts. They weren't knockouts that happened like when he was in his best fighting years. He had a good chin, and I think durability-wise, first and foremost, I don't think his chin would get tested a lot. And this fight would be, Inoue and Mark Toop Sharp Johnson, I think would be like an aggressive chess match. That younger version of Inoue, as good as he was, I think that younger version of Inoue wasn't as comfortable fighting in the pocket as he is now. I think he had to learn how to hold his ground in the pocket a bit more as time went on, and fighting guys like Adrian Hernandez and Omar Narvaez and these guys that come forward, David Carmona, they gave him experience to handle these fighters in the pocket. So I think Mark Toop Sharp Johnson would have had a great chance to beat Inoue. And I'm gonna even say, if they would have fought, I would slightly favor him over Naoya Inoue. I think he has a stamina to deal with Inoue for the whole fight. I think he can punch from different angles, so he's gonna be able to hit Inoue a lot if they would have fought. And it would have been a great test of Inoue's defensive abilities and his boxing IQ. That fight right there would have been one for the hardcores and the casuals, because you would have had, for people who are like boxing nerds like myself who understand the little details of boxing, you would have had so much jockeying for position, with it being an orthodox for a southpaw matchup. You know, Mark Toop Sharp Johnson's a southpaw. One of Naoya Inoue's money punches is the straight right hand. However, Mark Toop Sharp Johnson's ability to pivot and shift his weight, and sometimes switch into different stances, I think it would have been a really good cat and mouse game if they would have ever fought. But when I think about Naoya Inoue and the career he's carving out now in his career, I feel like he is kind of like, he's becoming a Mark Toop Sharp Johnson like esque fighter, and that's high praise. I mean, this is a guy that when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he actually went into the Hall of Fame as the youngest Hall of Famer in history. This is a fighter that, for better or for worse, he was avoided by some of the best fighters that ever competed in his weight class. You know, Michael Carvajal wasn't exactly in a rush to fight him. Johnny Tapia and Danny Amira weren't exactly in a rush to fight him, and neither was Chiquita Gonzalez, despite the fact that Mark Toop Sharp Johnson consistently called them out and was consistent throughout time in his career. He was on the pound list for a long time. He was as high as the 3rd pound fighter in the world, behind only Floyd and Roy Jones Jr. So it shows you the level that he was operating at one moment in time and one moment in history. But definitely would have been a hell of a fight. I think Inoue's money punch in that fight probably would have been like a straight right hand, right? And Mark Toop Sharp Johnson's money punch in that fight would probably be like, I would actually say the uppercut. He was very good moving laterally to set the uppercut up, and then, you know, sometimes throw a straight left hand off of it or throw a right hook off of it. You know, beautiful fighter, great fighter to watch. A lot of fighters say that they were complete fighters. I hear like Gervonta Davis and a lot of fighters say they were complete fighters. Not like this guy. You watch this guy fight, Mark Toop Sharp Johnson, wasn't a thing in the boxing ring this man could not do. A complete fighter. And I think on his best night, he'd be hell for anybody, including the monster. But those are my thoughts. You know, just my little fantasy fight thoughts. Naoya Inoue from 112 from the flyweight version of Naoya Inoue and super flyweight version of Naoya Inoue versus Mark Toop Sharp Johnson, who competed in both those weight classes. Those are my thoughts. So yeah, Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what are some other fantasy fight matchups that you know, just throw them out there in the drop them in the comments, and I'll be sure to get to them when I can. I'm gonna be doing more of these type of videos in the future. So if you wanna see more of these type of videos, drop them in the comments and I'll get to them. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.